And can we please just take a moment to remind everybody that they should stop shooting all over themselves? If those shoulds are the things that are driving decisions we're making that are evolving into the life we're leading, it's not that we're really leading a life, we're performing.
We don't talk about what we desire in life. We shrink it, or we rationalize it, or we try to ignore it. That's what we should be doing to the shoulds, not to our actual wants and desires. Welcome back to Unapologetic Rabble-Rousers. I'm Doc Shelley.
And I'm Carla Lewis. Okay. We've been really hitting some topics very hard in terms of really gaining ground and understanding what it is that drives us, the things that are driving us and the way they are standing in our way, the things that we're doing that just absolutely put us in second place, that this whole notion of being able to stand in the space and own it like you belong because you do, like you're valuable because you are, because you're worth the time and you are worth trusting, starting with you, trusting you. So maybe it's time now to take a look at, well, what do I want? Now, I mean, if I'm going to make all of that right, what does that look like? What do I want if I'm going to let go of these things that have been working against me?
Mm-hmm. And maybe some of those things weren't necessarily working against you, but they weren't working optimally for you.
Oh, okay, fine. A finesse, which I accept. Thank you.
And I think when we're kind of letting go of some of those old ways of being and thinking, what replaces that? And I think there's a struggle with people because we know what we should do. We know how we should be. We know what we should want, but we don't know what we actually want.
And can we please just take a moment to remind everybody that they should stop shooting all over themselves?
Well, yeah, but we do.
Okay. Just saying.
But we've been taught to do what's practical, what's expected, what's impressive, what feels safe. And so our desires get lost in the should versus what I actually desire.
Okay. All right. So what's in the should?
Well, the should is everything that you're taught, like what's the right career, what's the right timeline, what's the right relationship, what's the ideal version of success. These are all the things that you should want. It's conditioning.
Okay. And so if those shoulds are the things that are driving decisions we're making that are evolving into the life we're leading, it's not that we're really leading a life, we're performing in that whole thing. This is a should that's implied by some standards that are outside of me. This is not necessarily me. God bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And God bless everyone listening too. I'm just But so if we're performing to some other standards or expectations and we stop, and that was what was driving how we were the way we were. Now being able to look at, how do I want to show up? How do I want to be? What's my desire? And it's like you're in a vacuum. It gets really quiet because all of that had been shadowed by demands and expectations that we bought into that were not ours.
Mm-hmm.
So in that quiet, what happens?
What happened? And I think you said something that had me have a thought. That was that all of that wasn't ours. Even though we may have been living a life of shoulds. Many people still own it. They have careers built around the shoulds. They have relationships built around the shoulds. So it wasn't that they didn't own it, that they didn't like it. They were fully active in all of that. But as you start to realize and you gain that clarity that this isn't actually the life I want. These aren't the things I want to be doing. This isn't the career I want. This isn't the job I want. These aren't the boundaries I want, whatever it is. Yes, the world can get, as you put it, feel like a vacuum. It can get very quiet. And that quiet is giving you space to hear yourself, to explore what is it that you actually desire. What do you want?
And that can be scary.
I mean, sure. Voices in our own heads can be scary.
Well, gosh, I hadn't taken that, but okay, yeah. Yes. I've had to tell them to shut up a couple of times in my own. No, just kidding. No, not really. But it's the being able to explore that. First, giving yourself permission to say, okay, no, it's okay for me to ask, what do I want instead? If I reach a conclusion somehow, emotionally, otherwise, that, this is good. I've got all of the trappings. I've been fully engaged in the career, the schooling, the whatever. Yes, I was fully engaged, but where I am right now is not really what I want for my life.
Mm-hmm.
So exploring beyond that known, that's scary. That's scary. And it's like you need a map, you need a compass, you need the tools, you need a guide that can help you through that territory. But making the decision first to even take that step.
I think it feels scary for some people because they haven't done it before, so it feels selfish, particularly for women. Because, oh my God, I'm going to put myself first. What? So it can feel selfish.
Okay.
And it might disrupt things in your life.
And we've talked about that. We have talked about that in from so many different angles. If we go back to the segments on boundaries, and if we go to the segments on the overfunctioning, and the things about just not standing up for self, recognizing or respecting self. So, okay, if it's feeling selfish, we got some work to do there. And we've got some good work to do there. Because I think one of the first questions is, and so what's wrong with that? Okay, so I might have shortcut some things there. Okay, all right, let's go with selfish. Because if being selfish doesn't fit comfortably into where you are right now, why? What might be the kinds of things that you're concerned about? If I really just took care of me for a minute here, took a look at what I want, what might suffer?
First, I want to be clear. I didn't say it was selfish. I said it might feel selfish. Those are two very different things.
Thank you for the clarification.
Let me just make that clear.
Yes. Selfish is okay.
Yes, absolutely. I think it can feel selfish because, again, it might make other people feel uncomfortable. It might disrupt your normal routine. It might have an impact on those around you when you start exploring what you desire in life. And so many times we don't talk about what we desire in life. We shrink it, or we rationalize it, or we try to ignore it. That's what we should be doing to the shoulds, not to our actual wants and desires.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And again, it's challenging. It's challenging not only our own expectations, but if it means we're going to change something because we are going to take care of ourselves, It's going to change something for somebody else too. We can't change anything if we are in relationship to anyone without them also feeling a change.
Right.
And that's unsettling.
It can be.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think as people start to explore what it is they want, one of the questions that first pops into my head is, what do I keep talking myself out of? For years, I've talked myself out of so many things. I've talked myself out of writing a book. I've now written a couple. Got another one in the works. I have talked myself out of doing my own business. Have had a couple times I've had my own businesses. What are those things that you talk yourself out of? I have a friend who's an incredible artist, and she dabbles in it sometimes, and then she'll quit her full-time job, and then she'll be a full-time artist, and then she'll go back to her full-time job, and then she'll go back to art. So she kind of goes back and forth. So she talks herself in and out of, I'm an artist. Because for her, it's all or nothing. She either does her art or she works full-time. There's not a compromise of, I can work full-time and still do my art.
So the blend is not.
No, there's no blend. There is.
Okay.
I can't do my art if I work full time. Is the story that she tells herself. I don't know if it's true or not, but that is a story she tells herself. So she ebbs and flows between she really, really wants to do art full time.
Okay.
But if she can't do it full time, she won't do it at all.
So getting stuck waiting for the perfect scenario to be able to say, okay, I'm committed fully to this. It's almost like in that particular case, maybe doing the art full time feels risky. And so I can easily talk myself out of it. I won't know if I can make a go of it if I don't try.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm opening up a whole new can of worms.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that go into that, but I think there's no full plan. There's no path. She starts it and she stops it. There's no like, I've started it, then what? It's almost like there's a roadblock and then I got to revert back to what I should be doing versus figuring out how can I keep doing what I want to be doing.
Yeah. So getting back to what is it you actually desire? Mm-hmm. What is it?
Desire is something you build and rebuild, right? Because it's going to change over the course of our lifetime. There are things that when I was a kid, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I have zero desire to be a veterinarian now. None. Zero. Nada. So our wants and our desires are going to change. But when you have spent decades, for many of us, prioritizing other people, choosing safety, overriding instincts, there's no way to know what we actually want. So when all of that stuff starts to settle down, we create space in our brains for now there's some silence. I can actually figure out what it is I want. But we're really practicing not knowing what we want. So we need to focus on what are the things. One of the questions I ask a lot of my coaching clients, what lights you up? You have 3 decisions to make. What one of those things lights you up? They gotta think about it. That's not an immediate like, oh, this one. Sometimes they're like, I got it. Notice what drains you. If something doesn't light you up, what's draining you? What are you curious about? Think through those things, and that can help you figure out what is it that you desire, not what you should be doing.
Okay, so once more for the people in the back row. What lights you up?
What lights you up? Conversely, what drains you? And what are you curious about? There's a great quote I heard quite some time ago, and that was, you don't discover desire, you remember it. It is, it's like an inherent thing that we all have inside of us. that we have shoved down. Many people, many have just shoved down so deep that we don't even know that it's within us anymore. And when you start to connect with it, because it aligns with who you are at your core, it aligns with your values, it's a remembering of who you are. And you just feel it in your bones. Feel it. It's a remembrance.
Wow. That is so powerful. And I think it's a great way to encourage everyone who hears this message. Remembering that deep down inside somewhere, there's, desire. You know it. And I love the questions you asked, Michelle. And I hope our listeners will take advantage of that as maybe journaling.
What?
I know. We hadn't said that word in a while.
The J word has not been brought up in a couple episodes. How is that possible?
Oh my gosh.
It's funny though, because as you said that, I'm thinking of a journal prompt. If I stopped asking myself what I should want, what would I admit that I actually want?
With that, I'm Carla Lewis.
And I'm Doc Shelley. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you next week. There's a great quote I heard, and that was, you don't discover desire, you remember it. If I stopped asking myself what I should want, what would I admit that I actually want?